Hello, Bryce here once more. So, in our previous interview, we talked about, you know, who do you want to be and how to step into that. In this interview, we're going to be talking about, toxic people. Are they toxic or are they mirrors? And we're going to explain exactly what that means in this interview. So, I cannot wait for you guys to see it. Have a great day. Catch you in the interview. Cool. So, do you consider life and business to be the same thing or intertwined really closely?
For me personally,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I would say that I am my brand. I am my business. So the beautiful thing about my situation or my life is I get to be an advocate and live with integrity every day. I love what I do. So me writing an article for LinkedIn or me having conversations on a Sunday doesn't bother me because it doesn't feel like work. That's not to say I don't get tired and I don't have boundaries, because I certainly do. Um, but again, for me in my practice, I am my business. So yes, for me.
Okay.
But
So,
I coach around that not being true for a lot of people in corporate.
uh, well, so then the next question is, so like, what is your vision for your life slash business?
Well, I am 7 months on the road. I've lived in 7 countries the last 7 months, and I'm going to continue to do that. So, my vision for my business is, if we were to break it down, statistics, 8 to 12 one-on-one clients at a time, two corporate clients per year, and being able to still continue to travel the world and meet wonderful people, learn about fantastic cultures, um, and maybe start writing a book. I don't know about that, but right now it's just a matter of getting consistent, high paying clients that want to become more aware and more awake. And so I can continue to have this positive ripple of more empathy and intuitive leadership uh, growing, per se.
Okay. So, what is success to you? Like, what does it look like? What does it sound like? What is it?
It depends on the day. I mean, sometimes it can be like an EDM bass bumping, and other days it can be you know, a classical rock song. But I feel that success for me is just being able to wake up and have a deep sense of gratitude and appreciation for where I am, who I'm with, um, and to have enough money to be able to support myself in living. Right? I don't need a lot. I think the perfect end of the world, or end of the at the end of the day, if I were to be able to do 2 full days a month of soul philanthropy work, that would be amazing. So I guess being able to go to bed proud of who I was that day and what I experienced.
Interesting. So, let me ask you this, right? This is something that I've been thinking about for the last 10 seconds. Um, so building connections with people, right? So I was on an interview with a different person a couple days ago, and she was like, you know, depending on what energy you're putting out, you're going to be attracting a certain type of person. Like just whether it's like romantically, whether it's like in business, whether it's just people inside your life. Um, do you have any tips change changing the people who are attracted and coming into your life?
Do I have any tips for changing
Yeah.
the
So,
type?
so yeah. So if you're always attracting toxic people into your life, is there ways that you can start to, maybe change who you are, or the signals you send out so that more positive people start coming into your life?
Yeah, well, it's a matter of, if you're always attracting toxic people in your life, My first question would be, are they truly toxic?
Mm.
Every person we come in contact with allows us to see a part of ourselves that we may like, love, or hate. It's up to us to be able to differentiate what it is by someone. That is a sign from our intuition in the universe saying, hey Alyssa, isn't this like wonderful that this is a part about your, like, the thing that this person is saying, or the part of this conversation that's irritating you the most is something that you are in, like, you're either like not in alignment with whatsoever, or it's something about yourself that you also like have that you don't want to or you haven't addressed yet. So it's like, well, thanks for that opportunity and growth. So that's one element and aspect. The second way to go about it is really asking yourself and taking ownership. What do you get? What's the positive aspect in keeping this person in your life? And you may be able to say, well, they're toxic, I don't get anything, that's why I need to get them out of my life. And it's like BS. If there wasn't something that you were benefiting from, you wouldn't keep them in your life. We are pleasure junkies and meaning making monkeys. So if that person was that toxic and that bad, but yet you're choosing to keep them in your life, what does that reveal about you? What does that say about you? Or what is the benefit in keeping them in your life?
So
Makes
then,
sense?
interesting. So then, once you start addressing those areas that you do not like, or about that person or that's standing out, will will you just stop disliking that person? And second, will that cause them to kind of drift out if you keep changing different things about yourself?
Well, it's a matter of, do you want to change yourself, or do you just want to take ownership, acknowledge your experience of the person? So you either get to forgive and
Mhm.
forget, right? You get to understand that that person at the end of the day is doing the best they can, because that is true. It's true about us folks. Like, at any given point of any day, we're always doing the best we can based off what we've been taught and what we know and where we're at on a level of awareness. So that's the first thing to understand about a person that's toxic. It's like, oh man, shit, this person's struggling. Okay. So that's one thing. The second thing is to form agreements. Have ownership in how you're allowing someone to talk to you or treat you. If it's a toxic relationship, address it. Form agreements and speak what you're willing to accept and tolerate and what you're not. And they get to choose whether or not they can form that agreement and honor it. Otherwise, they get removed.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. Generally for me, right? I'll see a lot of traits that I don't like. For example, someone who does not stick to a content schedule that we either created or that we talked about, right? That will annoy me. So it's different, like little things like that, right? Because I'm pretty goal oriented, pretty goal focused on certain things. So that's interesting, you know.
How do you allow that person to not show up?
What do you mean?
For the person that's not like creating content or sticking to the schedule, how do you create that person and not showing up?
Can you use a different sentence? Create the person to not showing up. I don't understand that sentence.
Well, you just said like you're really goal oriented, so it irritates you when someone else is not like following up or staying on course to creating content or
Correct.
having content, right? And
Yeah.
so if this is a dynamic where two people are in partnership in dual creation and creating something, how do you, or what are you doing that is enabling that person to not show up?
Enabling the person to not show up. Like, give an example, because I don't understand. Still, just like, so for example, like if you don't give them a deadline.
Yeah, that's one way.
In the nicest way, I fire them as a friend or person or partner.
Exactly, right? I mean, it's all about forming agreements. So getting clear on having a deadline of like what you need, want to expect, when. And also in form of connection, a lot of the times we forget to communicate our why behind our request. So for me, when I'm in any type of partnership or group thing, I'm always taking ownership in how I'm showing up and how I'm enabling or setting people up to not be able to show up. So I get real clear on my communication and agreements and expectations, what I want from them, when, and if they